Hello fellow Star Wars fans! Today, we once again invite you to join us on yet another thrilling excursion into that galaxy far, far away. We'll take a close look at the Chiss, a group of very enigmatic and mysterious beings. Hailing from the unknown regions, the Chiss have long fascinated fans with their blue skin, striking red eyes, and unparalleled intellect. In this video, we'll embark on an exploration of the Chiss anatomy, unraveling the unique physical traits that set them apart from the other species in the Star Wars universe. From their distinctive physiology to the secrets behind their remarkable mental abilities, we'll leave no stone unturned. But that's not all. We'll be exploring the cultural and societal norms of the Chiss as well, looking at how their species shapes the galaxy and interacts with other alien beings. So fasten your seatbelts because we're going to analyze and demystify the anatomy of the Chiss on our thrilling journey today, right here on our channel. May the Force be with us. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who are the Chiss? What do they look like? Picture a universe full of different species and cultures, each one being very, very special. Well, in the far-off, unknown regions of the Star Wars galaxy, there existed such a species that stood out like a brilliant star on a dark night, the Chiss. The cryptic inhabitants of Chila, a world wrapped in ice. Not much was known about these beings, and strangely enough, the Chiss were a weird anomaly when it came to the Force. They referred to it as the Sight, and it was very uncommon. And even if you did have it, the powers were pretty meager in comparison to other Force-sensitive species. And here's the kicker, their abilities withered away into obscurity as they aged. The Chiss had the Chiss Ascendancy as their ruling body, and they claimed the unknown regions as their territory. The regions were an absolute maze to navigate through, but the Chiss had an ace up their sleeves, their seers, who could foresee trouble and keep their ships safe. Now, the Chiss were pretty isolated from the rest of the galaxy, even within the already remote unknown regions. Most folks thought that they were just a legend, but what's even more intriguing is how Chiss families ran the show in their society, dominating everything from politics to everyday life. Picture this. You're wandering through the diverse tapestry of the Star Wars universe, and you stumble upon the Chiss. Intimidating? You bet. These beings, well, they were almost like humans, but with some jaw-dropping distinctions that catch your eye. First things first, the Chiss rocked this stunning blue skin like they had a galaxy's worth of coolness coursing through their veins. Their hair? Oh, it was a shimmering blue-black that'd make even the night sky jealous. And their eyes? A fiery red. But here's the kicker. The shade of red depended on how much oxygen was around them. The more oxygen, the more intense the eye and skin color. Now, they weren't all soft curves and gentle lines. Their faces had these sharp angles that made them look quite intelligent and intimidating, a fiery combination. And when it came to aging, their hair, usually jet black, would occasionally go gray. Oddly enough, they thought gray hair meant you would be a parent of some seriously exceptional kids. Go figure. Standing tall and proud, Chiss were generally more muscular than your average human, but they came in all shapes and sizes, just like us. Males usually hit around 1.85 meters, while females were about 1.7 meters on average. And let's not forget, most Chiss rock some serious physical fitness. They weren't just brains, they had the brawn to back it up. So imagine walking into a room and spotting these striking blue-skinned, red-eyed, and jet black-haired folks. You'd know you're in the presence of the Chiss, a species that oozes authority from every pore. Why are they blue? How are they different from Pantorans? Now, here's a twist that could baffle even the most seasoned galactic explorer. The Chiss often get mistaken for Pantorans, those blue-skinned folks from Pantora. You know, the ones without the fiery red eyes. Imagine the mix-up. Although the color of their eyes made the difference quite obvious, it could still be pretty difficult to differentiate between them otherwise. But here's the thing, these surface-level similarities might be thanks to some cosmic coincidence. See, it's possible that the Chiss's unique appearance, that blue skin and hair, had something to do with the quirky environment on their chilly homeworld, Chila. It's like their planet had a thing for the color blue. You see, the Chiss's blue skin and hair were supposedly linked to the same atmospheric minerals that gave Chila glaciers that signature bluish tint. Nature was quite the artist there. And as for those mesmerizing red eyes, well, it seems they had a thing for oxygen. The more oxygen in the air, the brighter those eyes shone. Talk about adapting to your surroundings. So, the next time you spot a blue-skinned, red-eyed individual in the galaxy, remember they might just be a Chiss with a dash of Chila's cosmic color palette. exploring the enigmatic Chiss ascendancy. So, let's talk about Chiss politics and society. It's a real roller coaster. At the top of the Chiss hierarchy, you've got the creme de la creme, the 9 ruling families. They're the big shots, and together they make up the Chiss Syndicure. Right beneath them, you've got the 40 great houses, and then all the other less flashy families. It's a pyramid of power, folks. And now, this is where it starts to get good. The Chiss really love their family drama, and by that, we mean the sort of thing you'd witness in a star-crossed space opera. Infighting, power struggles, and whatever else you can imagine. It's all encompassed in everyday Chiss life. And it doesn't end there. These political theatrics seep into every nook and cranny of Chiss society. At the helm of a Chiss family, you've got the patriarch, although don't be fooled by that title. Women can take the reins too. The family structure is like a well-oiled machine. It's all about ranks, order, and hierarchy. Oh, and when it comes to names, family comes first, and quite literally. The family name is the opening act of a Chiss's name, and the rest is all about the individual and some social factors. They take their family very seriously. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You don't have to be born into a family to join one. Ambitious Chiss looking to climb the social ladder can go through a process called rematching. It's like an upgrade in the family department. And the reverse happens too. Top-tier Chiss families scout talented youngsters to boost their street cred. But wait, there's more. Chiss could even lose their family name. This would usually happen when they felt ashamed or decided to join the defense fleet. This was mainly because their society wanted to keep a clear line between the ruling families and the military. Now, these folks were super secretive. Despite being around for ages, they kept their existence under wraps from other galactic powers. They had a pretty impressive military, the Chiss Defense Force, but they were more into exploring and researching than conquering. Preemptive strikes? Those weren't really their style. So there you have it, the Chiss Ascendancy, where politics, family drama, and secrecy reign supreme. Are there only females in the Chiss species who are force sensitive? Now let's dive into something super intriguing among the Chiss, their take on the Force. They called it the Sight, and it was very extremely rare. It wasn't your typical Jedi or Sith mind trick though, so let's check it out. When a Chiss had the Sight, it came in 2 forms. First, you had the Third Sight, which was all about precognition, seeing the future, but it wasn't really super specific, more like vague hints. Then, there was the Second Sight, which was their version of telepathy. Imagine sending a mental message across the room without saying a word. That's what it was like. But here's the kicker. Force-sensitive Chiss were almost always ladies. Seems like the Force had a preference when it came to the Chiss. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. As these gifted Chiss aged, their powers faded away like stars in the morning sky. Eventually, poof, they were gone. It's like the Force had a retirement plan. But here's the real kicker. The Chiss kept these second and third sights on the down low. They were kept super secret. Many Chiss didn't even know they existed. And the lucky girls who did have these powers, they were trained to be navigators for the Chiss fleet as they traversed the wild and dark hyperspace routes of the unknown regions. They had a cool name for them too, Ozaili Esahembo, which in Chun, the Chiss language, meant Skywalker. So there you have it, the Chiss and their mystical sight, shrouded in secrecy. Which languages do they use? Alright folks, let's talk about the Chiss language, shall we? Their go-to tongue was called Chun, and boy was it a brain twister. This language didn't believe in using a ton of words. Instead, it played with the ones it had, sort of like a linguistic puzzle. Imagine expressing complex ideas by smashing related phrases together into a linguistic masterpiece. It was like building a verbal Lego tower of meaning. Now, when the Chiss bumped into outsiders, which wasn't too often, mind you, they'd switch to trade languages like Sebisti, Miskolf, Tarja, and Minisiat. It was sort of their way of dumbing things down for the other species. And when it came to writing stuff down, they used the Chun script, which was all about ideograms. These ideograms were like building blocks for ideas, combining simple ones to create something more complex. Think of it as the Chiss version of emojis, but on a much more complex scale. The Chiss took real pride in their language, partly because it was a head-scratcher for other species. Pronouncing Chun was like trying to sing a song in a foreign language you'd never heard before, challenging, even after some practice. But hey, it had its own logic, and with a bit of study, you could crack the code. So there you have it, the Chiss and their language, a complex and fascinating puzzle that sets them apart from the rest of the galactic crowd. Is interbreeding possible in Chiss and humans? Now let's go open some history books and talk about something cool. How Chiss saw humans. Back in the day, they'd meddle about quite a bit, and as expected, things got quite intimate. Now here's the kicker. When Chiss and humans mingled, it wasn't a regular love story. Most of the time, their escapades resulted in children. But those little ones always had a peculiarity. Often, they were sterile and could not produce children of their own. But when they did come into the world, they were mostly fine. Now, here's where things get really interesting. These hybrid kids were like a cocktail of traits. Depending on the genetic traits they were dealt by their parents, they could look all sorts of unusual. Imagine having a mix of Chiss and human features. It must have been like playing genetic roulette. But here's the kicker. Chiss weren't known to get cozy with any other species except humans. There were even some wild experiments with native fruit bats, but let's just say that didn't go too far. So when it comes to intergalactic love stories, Chiss and humans had a little something special going on. How is their culture different? Alright, let's talk about the Chiss and their legendary reputation in the unknown regions. These folks weren't just known for their striking blue skin and red eyes. They had a military prowess that turned heads across the galaxy's uncharted territories, even in places where the Chiss hadn't made a personal appearance. Their reputation as noble warriors with a highly valued military doctrine was the stuff of legends. You could be talking to a species that hadn't left their own backyard in ages, and they'd still spin tales of the Chiss as these awe-inspiring blue-skinned champions. It's like the Chiss had this mystical aura about them that transcended borders and boundaries, and they were the kind of folks who made even the most battle-hardened warrior look twice. So, whether you were a seasoned spacefarer or a homebody, the Chiss left an indelible mark in the legends of the unknown regions. Alright, now let's unravel the mystery of the Chiss names. They're a bit of a mouthful, but trust us, they're very fascinating. So first things first, a typical Chiss name had 3 parts. Part 1 was like their family signature, telling you which clan they belonged to. Part 2 was their given name, the one they answered to every day. And part 3, well, that was like a bonus part, indicating some other social stuff. Now here's the kicker. Chiss also had these short and snappy versions of their names, kind of like nicknames but a bit more official. They called these core names, and in everyday life, these were the go-to names for most situations, mainly for the sake of simplicity. Now when it came to outsiders mingling with the Chiss, like us humans, they'd start with the full 3-part name. But hey, even we got the privilege of eventually getting our own core name for the less formal occasions. So there you have it, the Chiss and their name game. A blend of tradition and convenience that added a bit of flair to their identity. Marvelous verdict. And there it is, fellow Star Wars enthusiasts, a deep dive into the captivating anatomy of the Chiss. From their striking blue skin and crimson eyes to their unique connection with the Force, the Chiss are undeniably one of the most intriguing species in the galaxy far, far away. We've uncovered the secrets of their physiology, delved into their enigmatic society, and explored the fascinating nuances of their language. Whether it's their rare Force abilities or their complex family structures, the Chiss continue to leave us in awe. The truth is, the Chiss are more than just another Star Wars species. They are a symbol of what makes this galaxy so unique. So, if you're a long-time deep diver into Star Wars lore, or just a recent addition to the fandom, characters like the Chiss serve as that little reminder that there's always something new with which to engage in this ever-so-vast universe. Thank you for coming along with us on this journey, and may the Force be with you. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!